I think that's okay. Alrighty, get underway. Hi Terry, if you want to connect with us on video, you can just say yes to being a panelist, or just stay in the attendee room. It's up to you entirely. Okay, so let's go. Just going to share the screen. All right, we'll get underway. So, welcome everybody to the Soul Contract Reading Q&A. This is for readers of the book Your Soul Contract Decoded and anyone else interested in the work. I'm Nicolas, David Ngan of the Centre for Conscious Ascension. This is pretty much free for all, really. It's whatever you want to talk about. And because I'm so busy, we decided to make these available to book readers, anyone who wants to talk about the work. Pretty much ask anything you want if you want to go deeper into the work, which is very transformative of our lives. And I'm here to help you manifest your mission. My mission is to help you manifest your mission as laid out in your soul contracts and to take you to wherever you want to go with this work. So that's why I'm here. I received my reading from the founder, Frank Alper, in Arizona back in 1990, which completely changed my life. It made complete sense for the very first time out of a very chaotic early life experience. And I brought it to the UK and Europe, and we're the leading teachers of this in English in Europe, and just want to share this work with you guys. So I'd like to know why you guys are here, what brought you here, because then that will formulate how we flow with the webinar. Okay, so maybe you want to just share, especially your brave souls who've shown yourself on video, where you are. I suspect most of you in Europe because everyone's asleep in America. Where you are and what brought you here and what you need from it. And this gives me a feel for how to flow with the webinar. So there's only a few of you turned up, so make the most of me. It's very hard to get 2 hours of my time. So just wave at me, or you can put it in the chat if you're not showing yourself, or just switch your microphones on. Everyone's got their mic switched on. Just say your name and just talk away, because then that's all formulate the flow, what we're going to do. So who would like to go first? Okay, so we'll go for, let's see, go for Natalie, and then we'll go for Tisa next. So Natalie, what brought you here? Can't hear you just yet. You have to unmute, I think. Yeah. And let me just find the unmute button. It should come up on your phone or whatever you're using there. Okay, go for it. It's fine now.
Hi, how you going? I'm over in Australia in Melbourne.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was hoping just to know a little bit more about how you read the charts with when you read it with other people, like with your kids or family or friends, how to interpret it from that point of view.
You mean your birth chart, or you mean about?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to understand how basically a reading works. Is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah, a reading with when you combine it with somebody that's close to you, like a close relation.
Okay. All right, we'll see what we can do with that. Okay. All right. Tisa? Yeah, go on.
Hiya. So I'm in the UK, in Essex, in England, and the main purpose for today is, I guess, just an extension on what I've sort of learned already from reading your book, and then creating my own soul contract. It's just a little bit understanding more direction as to what it means to me. So there seems to be a longing for me to want to help people, which I now understand by looking at my soul contract, but it takes away from my own self. And that's clearly one of the goals that I have. So it's kind of trying to find direction as to how I balance that out, I guess. And then it would be great to have a better understanding on how to read other people. So I've done my children's, but that's probably the main goals for me. It's just a little bit more understanding of what the numbers and the signs, kind of the pictures represent, the symbols, if that makes sense.
Okay, do that.
Thank you.
All right. Samantha, another brave soul. Do you want to just give me a feel for what brought you here?
I guess I sort of came across a girl on TikTok who did the soul contract reading, and I had one done.
Who was that? Was that Gilliana, was it?
No, it was Taylor, channeling.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I found it very interesting, and I sort of watched a couple of YouTubes, and then I got your book, and then yeah, I just found it interesting. So I just thought I'd come along and yeah, go from there.
You sound like from Australia too. Which part of Australia?
Yeah, Adelaide.
Adelaide. Okay, that's great. You guys
Yeah.
have done that because it's designed.
Yeah.
Timing's designed for you guys. Okay. All right.
Time.
Yeah. So it's just morning here. So I just had my breakfast. So anyone else want to introduce themselves and say what you need from this? You can just switch your sound on. Natalie, you got another question? Hang on, could unmute.
There you go. I just wanted to clarify when I was what I meant. Did you think I was talking about the birth chart or the soul contract?
Well, I wanted to find out, is it a birth chart or?
No, I was talking about the soul contract. Sorry. I did make that very clear.
It is a soul contract. Birth chart. It's based on the birth chart, you see. So what do you actually want to know about you in relationship to someone else?
Yeah, say for an example, my son, how he's come into my life and how our charts or how our soul contracts are connected at all.
Okay, yeah. So what you're talking about there is the relationship overlays, how two people.
Yes, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
it's not covered in the book, but if there's time, we can cover it today. Okay. All right. Samantha, you've disappeared. What's happened? All right. Eleanor, get your hand up.
Yes.
Are you going to show yourself?
Sorry, I'm back. I just had to quickly, I was just grabbing my soul contract.
Okay. Eleanor?
Yeah. I'm afraid I ain't quite ready for camera today.
Okay.
But I wonder if I could ask you anyway.
Yeah. What do you need from this? So, and tell everyone where you are as well. So.
Yes, I'm in Denmark. It's yeah. And I just remember once you told me that perhaps it would be good if I were to work on my own. And my question is, because I seem to find it very hard to find a boss that I can match or that wants to match. Bottom line, I seem to have a lot of not too fortunate match meetings with new bosses, and hence my job situation is often insecure, and I can't seem to get a grasp at what's it all about and why it isn't really working.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yep. All right, thank you. Anyone else want to introduce themselves here? We've got Ron, do you want to say anything? Or Kat? So you set your intention. It's entirely voluntary, so I got a good feel.
Hey guys.
Okay, go for it. Do you want to show? Are you able to switch your camera on, Ron? Are you up to that?
Yeah, sure. I'm just
Here you go.
yeah. Yeah, I'm actually from Vietnam. One of my friends who did a course run by you called Lynn.
Yep.
Yeah, she recommended me. I had a reading by her.
Yeah.
And yeah, and she sent me the link to join today. And I think it's just out of curiosity, and I thought if I might pick up some gems from the session. So just here for listening.
Okay, you can do that.
Yeah.
And where are you based from?
Actually, I'm I'm based in Melbourne, but at the moment I'm in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Originally from Vietnam, but I moved to Melbourne 10 years ago. But currently in Vietnam
Okay.
right now. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Kat, do you want to say hi, or I can just continue?
Hi, how are you going?
Yeah. Where are you, Kat?
I'm in Melbourne as well. I can't find how to turn my camera on.
Okay. If you just say yes to being a panelist, then you come into the panelist room, then you can switch your camera on. Okay. Let's wait for Kat to turn up here. Cool. Lots of Aussies. This is great. That was the point of this one. So, all right. Okay, there you go. I can see you now.
Hi.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm in Melbourne as well.
Another one.
Yeah, another one. I watched you on Gaia just the other day, all your interviews on there, and yeah, just found it extremely interesting. So I just thought I'd come along and see what it was all about.
Okay, all right, we can do that. Okay, so let me just adjust the, something's not showing itself here on my side. I'm going to enlarge my image here. It doesn't seem to be working. We'll stay as we are then. Okay, thanks for everyone for sharing, and we'll get into this. So some people are going to watch this cold. So I'm going to give an explanation of the soul contract, basic explanation, then I'm going to get into your questions. Okay, guys, so I'm going to share the screen. Got the PowerPoint running. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's talk about this a bit more. All right, so the main thing about the soul contract work is that our karma, all these big challenges we have, contains our gift of service, which is sort of the last thing we think. Last place we would be looking for it. So all the hard, challenging stuff we face, which we normally turn away from because our ego doesn't like pain at all, if we turn into it and bring consciousness to it, we can transform it into our gift of service, actually our mission here. I mean, my karmic pattern was to feel unworthy, wanting to hide away, being very disempowered, and overcoming that gradually by bringing consciousness to it over the years. I've become a communicator and a teacher and an empower of others. I mean, my job is to empower you guys to come on to claim your gift of service now. Because previously I hid away from the world. So I had the opposite of what I needed to come into, which is how it works here. So eventually we attract to ourselves everything we do want, but initially we get everything we don't want. It's the way this works. And the soul contract explains how that happens. So moving forward here. Okay. All right. So basically what happens here, I want to get to this one, is the way the soul contract works is that we take the sounds of your name and we decode it on the Star of David. We convert the name into Hebrew sounds. Okay, so, and we have, actually what we might do is it'd be quicker just to do a demo on someone. So who hasn't had a reading, hasn't figured out their soul contract? Okay, Kat, you'll do then. Yeah, are you up for being very public about the truth of who you are, Kat?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Bare your soul. Okay, so what we're going to do, this is the soul contract software, which is at soulcontractreader.com. I'll explain how it works as I do your name. So what we do is that we need to convert your name into ancient Hebrew. We use 22 ancient Hebrew sounds. So I'll put your current name in. It's up with here. Okay, so what's the name on the birth certificate, Kat?
Catherine, Kathryn.
RYN.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their middle name?
Natalie.
like that.
Yes.
And Draper's the surname on the birth certificate?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. We won't put your birthday in because of data protection. Okay, you seem to be okay to consent to this. I'll put today's date in. Okay, so, right. We'll create your chart and I'll explain how the chart works. Okay, so what we've done here, Kat, is we've converted your name here. The soul chose, it shows this particular set of vibrations in the sound of your name based upon all its previous experience in life from in other lifetimes. And this is the next increment in growth for you, built on repeating themes you've had in other lifetimes. And so what we do is the set of vibrations in your name, you telepath to your mother and father, especially your mother, from the time you were conceived, to make sure they got the right name, which is why parents only have 2 or 3 names they can choose, because those would have worked, some variation of this would have worked for you. And this name is programmed into your DNA, into your subatomics, into your energy fields, and into a substance called karmic matrix, which is like a grade cobweb energy in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional levels within you. And it radiates out to the matrix. So the matrix is like in a movie, it rearranges around your belief systems and your programming. And so this is like the code in you, which the soul code, which basically creates your entire reality, what we call your holographic matrix, which is you, your energy system, and your subjective reality. So we can decode what does that mean. We can decode your soul contract, and the system converts it to the equivalent Hebrew sounds, like some sounds like TH, one sound in Hebrew, as is TA. All right. And we have 22 ancient Hebrew letters we use and sounds. And Frank Alper, my teacher, who channeled this work through in the 80s, I trained with him in 1990 in Arizona. He basically channels through over 9 months from the soul of Moses the meaning of these numbers when they're used in the star. So what we do here is that we take these Hebrew sounds and letters, which have an equivalent Hebrew number within it. So we extract these Hebrew numbers. This is completely different to, say, Pythagorean numerology, totally different system. It's using the pure frequencies of God that come out of the creation of this universe. And so we decode these sounds on the star at here. The way the stars works like this is that you as Catherine Natalie Draper are a brand new personality expression of the soul in this lifetime. You've never existed before. None of us have existed before. We're new personalities each time, whereas the soul is eternal and has many different personalities, ego constructs in different lifetimes. So first you need to learn how it works in the physical earth plane. So this is the physical triangle, establishing yourself here. How old are you now, Kat, if I can ask?
34.
Okay, this was good timing. So for the first 5 cycles of 7 years, we predominantly spend our time in the physical triangle. We learn to walk and talk, get conditional responses, get up and running in life, education, relationships, jobs, careers. And between the ages of 35 and 42 or younger, the 6th cycle of life, we start to focus on, activate the spiritual triangle. We can start to get restless. You've been feeling restless, looking for your true path now?
Yes, absolutely.
When did that start? How old were you?
I've been just the last few months, I've just been on a massive spiritual journey. I've always been spiritually inclined when I was little, and then I kind of lost it. And then the last few months just been way into all of this kind of stuff on a big journey. Yeah.
Because the soul's basically waking you up and saying, okay, we've established this physical foundation. Now I want to get on with the real important stuff. Okay, this is where we review our life and look at a lot of things and like what we do for work, relationships, living, everything. We review it and make a change because we know there's something more important to do. Does that resonate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the soul's trying to build the spiritual triangle on the physical triangle. It's hoping you've got a good foundation in the physical so you can get on with the spiritual mission. Okay, so within each triangle of these three aspects is karma, talents, and goals. And karma is a set of unresolved past life issues, as I was saying at the beginning, which are used to create the negative context in your life, all the things you don't like, so you get clear what you do want. And the latent physical talents activate as the karma activates to overcome it. And if it's a good match, you start to layer by layer transmute the karma into your positive gifts of service. And then as the talents get stronger, this helps you move to the physical goals, which is what excites you about life. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning in the physical world. And then the other thing that happens here, changing color, is that the spiritual karma is also activating. This is how you open to higher consciousness, to embody it. How you open to higher consciousness, to embody it, to express it in the world, your gift of service. And that requires this good physical foundation here to do that, and the clearing of all the stuff in the contract, especially the physical part. So the body rises in frequency so that then your gift of service can express in the world. Because we're like channels, we're conduits, and your job is basically to clear, work through consciously all the issues in your contract. Then once you're clear enough, you can actually start to embody your gift of service. Because what happens is that this is time here on this graph. This is power. Initially, your ego is very strong because of the contract when you're born. And if you're consciously working on yourselves, which you guys are, the power of the ego diminishes over time. And then what happens here is the power of the soul is less when you first, this is the ego, this is the soul. The power of the soul gradually increases over time in its expression because there's less ego holding it back. So your job is to keep clearing all the stuff which we talk about here. And then the power of the soul, more soul embodied, soul essence embodies, and it can express more because it's not being held back by the ego to get to the point of what we call soul integration here, where the power of the soul is greater than the power of the ego. And that's when your spiritual mission really takes off, because the drag weight of the ego is no longer pulling you down. That's when things really happen. So you guys, your goal is to get to this point of soul integration and cross this boundary. Most people get stuck behind it, but with this work, you can consciously break through, okay? And that's when your missions happen. That's when those visions and ideas, the things you're really excited about, start to turn up, okay? And this is the map on how to get there. This is the spiritual map of life on how to get there. And feel free to ask any questions as you go here. So opening to higher consciousness here is achieved by the spiritual talents fitting into that if it's a good match. So you open to higher consciousness and the gifts start to flow. The spiritual gifts start to flow. And as your talents get stronger, that moves you to the spiritual goals. What excites you out in the spiritual world. Okay. So I'm going to clear this now. Put a screenshot of that. So if you know what your contract is, I'm going to try and find my red. And if you consciously work on all these 6 outer aspects here, which you can do once you know what your contract is, because over time, each aspect, this is percentage complete. If you live a normal life, you might get a little bit done, 10, 20%. But if you're on the spiritual path and you know exactly what's going on from this work, you're going to go a lot faster. You're going to burn through these aspects a lot faster. And what the result will be is that the soul destiny, the real purpose of why you come, will manifest layer by layer over your lifetime as you burn through all these 6 outer aspects. Most people never get to it simply because they don't know what they're meant to do. Most people go around with the lights off, like I drive in a car at night, lights off, and they have no sat nav. So you're going to crash into things, and life's going to be very challenging. very slow to get through things. Whereas this work switches the lights on, gives you your spiritual sat nav, so you actually know where you want to go, which is to manifest the soul destiny. Okay. Right, so we take these numbers here, Kat, allocate them going around the Star of David, like 19, 1, 22 is 19, 1, 22, then 20, 16, 14, 20, 16, 14. Yeah. So we take the first 6 numbers and go around the star like this. And the next 6 numbers here, go around again. Then the last 6, go around once more, allocating the numbers. And we add them up. The total in physical karma is 37. Because there's only 22 interpretations, 37 doesn't mean anything. So we go 3 plus 7 equals 10. So 10's a frequency, Hebrew frequency. It's not an English number. And we go 1 plus 0, because there's another number here. 1 plus 0 equals 1. So we get a 10, and we get a 1. So there is, you're going to experience in physical karma the negative expression of a 10 and a 1. Doesn't mean it's bad, it's just the lessons, plus every blend in between. It's like hot and cold taps in the shower. And other numbers like, say, this one here, the total is 45. 4 plus 5 equals 9. And 9 can't be reduced anymore, so this is called a combination number. This is called a double number. There's only one frequency you're here to experience. So some parts of your life are very focused on certain things, and other parts have a wider range of energy to play with. Is this making sense so far? Yeah. So we take these physical numbers, place them on the top half of the chart, spiritual numbers on the bottom half of the chart, and then we add them up to get the 70 and the 25. Then we reduce it. 7 plus 0 is 7, 2 plus 5 is 7. 7, 7 goes in the middle. Okay, so that's the soul destiny. And all these channel symbols, these squiggly guys, Frank brought through, they're going to help me. It's your soul talking to me with where you are in your life. So the best way to do this is just, what's the most important question you have about your life? Okay, I'm going to give you a short reading, just to give you a flavor of this. Ask whatever you want. Don't hold back.
Yeah, just what's my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing?
Okay. Okay. So you're here to overcome a denial of God and the ego. Does a part of you feel it denies God, and another part totally believes in it at the same time? Yeah. So you're here to break through that and open to higher consciousness and bring through the blended masculine and feminine aspects of God to be of service to others. Okay? You're here to use spiritual energies to be of service and to do it with an enormous amount of power. This is a big fiery dragon. Do you scare people sometimes just by being in the same room?
It can be fiery.
Yeah. So this is the big dragon energy. This is a really powerful aspect of God. It's a massive catalyst to push everyone's button, and you don't even have to say anything. You just walk in the room and they are in process. Yeah. Yeah, and they may not like you for it either. So, okay. And so this 9 breaks through this blockage to this denial of God here. And this is the 1 about reconnecting to the masculine aspect of God. Okay. The 4 here is about learning to share the flow, take whatever comes to you, the flow of nature, and duplicate it. You take these little guys here, and you create a flow. So do you find that when you hear something new that you're really enthusiastic about, you want to share it with everyone? Yeah. So that's what this is about. So you're here to share knowledge, ideas, be ecological, recycle, look after the flow of nature. Okay. So this says there's issues with men and the father. What happened there?
With the men or my dad? Like, just in general, it's just a disaster.
In general, but what has started with your dad?
Abandonment and yeah, never feeling accepted and loved. And then I've definitely noticed with the patterns in my love life, I've just attracted narcissistic men constantly. So I'm on a dating ban because I just keep attracting these men and learning really hard lessons through these relationships. And yeah, it's been awful.
Yeah. So the key is to heal the inner wound with abandonment by Father God, because our biological father, in this case, represents the archetype of how your ego is separated from Father God. So it's healing that wound with Father God within you, and then the narcissist will stop turning up. Okay, that's the key. Because that, and then opening that channel to God, this is in a spiritual sense, will then bring through everything you need for this mission to serve. So it's just training. It's not meant to be punishment, even though it may feel like it. Okay.
Yeah.
In spiritual karma, this 22.4 is about reconnecting to source. It's learning to connect to source. This is one of the most powerful karmic patterns. So basically, on a bad day, do you feel like there is no God, even though part of you knows there is? Like you're abandoned here on this third rock from the sun, and that's it. Can't go home.
I think with me, it's been like always an interest in religion and different religions. And I don't know, some times in my life, like I've gone and studied the Bible and been really into it. And then other times I've completely denied it. And yeah, I felt like God didn't exist. And but I've recently just kind of been exploring different spiritual things and coming back to that really strongly.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the key, because there's a disconnect here and here, here and here. So connecting back to God is the key to this whole mission, because you're actually here to access the multidimensional experience of your soul and share it with others in the world. So this is saying, are you quite versatile, Kat?
I think maybe.
Yeah. So this means you can do all sorts of things, so you can access that multidimensional experience and knowledge.
So, but what do you mean by multi-dimensional? Like,
I mean, your soul has life experiences at many different dimensional levels, and it's as you connect back to source, that stuff will become available to you to share in its reality. Okay.
Yeah, that's
all right.
what it happens.
So what are you doing at the moment for work or spiritual?
I'm working. Natural health therapist. Yeah, holistic health.
Okay, so you're okay doing that?
I've just started training a few weeks ago, and so far so good. Okay,
because you're here to really look after people with the divine feminine energy, to unconditionally love them and help them, take care of them. Okay, this is you being of service here with the spiritual energy, which is why you want to do that. So you're here to look after people. Okay. Do you read lots of books? Like half a dozen at a time? Yeah. This is about you absorbing lots of knowledge, expanding it, wanting to communicate it to the world.
Yeah.
So the other thing you're here to really do is really to teach people. When you become worthy to feel loved, which got the unworthiness to be not loved, got triggered by the abandonment by the father, and you've got. But as you clear that and pull this big plug of unworthiness out of here, what will happen is that deep soul knowledge will come out to be communicated and taught to the world. And you're here to teach with an open heart as you heal a heart wound for what happened with your father, with groups of people. The 7's about dropping the facade, the mask you put up publicly, and then bringing that wounded inner child out and showing her true self, how she truly feels and thinks. And when you do that, what will happen is it will magnetize all sorts of people to you, all who are compatible with you, who resonate, relate to what you do. So you're here to build a network, both personally and professionally, to reach a lot of people. So I'd say overall, you're here to teach groups of people with an open heart, to empower them with unconditional love and to purely serve them and share the flow of source. There you go, there's 10 minutes, that's your life. How's that sound?
Yeah, some of it really resonates for sure.
Yeah. So that's why you're here. So the key thing is to work on the disconnect from source and the disconnect from the father energy here. Okay? Because once you do that, you feel worthy to be loved, you'll heal the broken heart, and then the flow will come of people and ideas, and all sorts of opportunities will come when you show yourself to the world. Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Any questions on that?
No, but if I think of some, I'll shout out.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let us go to stop sharing now. Anyone else got any questions about that? Or I keep going. Just wave at me, put it in the chat.
I have a question actually.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Are you able to see kind of how many, like on the chart, can you see how many previous lives we've had or not with this information?
On Earth, you mean?
Yeah, on Earth.
On Earth, on average, the normal soul, humanoid soul comes to Earth. You have an average of 48 to 72 lifetimes on Earth in the school of Earth. Because it takes a while to get acclimated, because we go to many different planets depending on where we need to embody in different physical forms, depending on where we are in our progression. But I'd say for you, you're more a starseed or light worker. I don't think you come as many times, simply because we all turned up. 2 or 3% of the population are light workers like us. We turn up to ascend to planets in consciousness. So you probably came less. You would have come enough to get it acclimated for a while, but you don't have to go through the normal school here on Earth, like 98% of the population, because you've done this previously. So it's probably less, I would say. So how many of you guys feel like you're a real visitor? Like, this is a pretty strange place. Put your hand up. Yeah, well, this is why, because you turned up to help out. You didn't have to come to learn. You came here to accelerate the ascension process, to return to source, turn to the high dimensions. But you had to have enough of the human experience and the karma to understand how it works in order to be able to help other people. Okay. All right. That's that. Thanks for that, Kat. Thanks for bearing yourself.
Thank you.
How does that feel?
Yeah, it's mind-blowing, but it's stuff I deep down already knew. Like I already knew this about myself, but having it confirmed by somebody else and seeing it physically, it's like, oh wow. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I do feel like I am a light worker, for sure.
Okay. All right, guys. So that's how the system works. And if you follow that, it'll guide you. It'll guide you to flow with what we call a spiritual signature, what opens your heart in each moment, because you at last have the map of where the soul wants to take you. And the more you align with that, the more gracefully your life will flow. Okay, so now we'll take the questions. Maybe, Natalie, we'll leave your question to near the end, because I want to have enough of the basic birth type readings. Then we can talk about your relationship with your son. Okay. So who wants to have their question answered first? This is what this webinar is all about now. The overall background's been set. Don't be shy, guys. Make the most of the time here. Go for it. Who wants to go first? Isa, you have to switch on. You have to switch it on.
Sorry, I put my hand up instead. I didn't know who else was gonna.
I got you now. Go for it.
So one question I've got, especially while you was doing Kat's contract and I was looking at my own, I wanted it's two things really, if I can sneakily get them in there. The first one is the double numbers. So on my contract, for example, I have the same soul destination as Kat, which is 77.
Let's actually put yours up, and then we can talk about it. Just give us
okay. All right.
All right. So if you want to send me your birth name in the chat.
Yeah, I'll do that now.
Then I'll make it quicker. I'm going to clear this down, and then we'll do yours. So.
Oh, sorry, I spelled that wrong. Sorry. Oh, there we go. That's it. Oh, it's done it again. Why is it not? Sorry, my keyboard's not doing my.
Okay, well, just read it out to me. Hang on. So let me just put down your current name.
For some reason, it's not allowing me to do the H and the A in Aisha. SHA. It just keeps coming off. I don't know what that's about. It's really weird.
Okay, just read it out to me. What's in the birth certificate?
So my middle name is AYSHA. Yeah, that's it.
So that Tisa Aisha Parks, that's correct?
That's the one. Yeah, that's
All
it.
right. We won't put your birth certificate, birth time in,
Okay.
just because of data protection. So, and we'll run this chart here.
Yeah.
Okay, so now start the question again, because now we can see.
Yeah, so can you see I've got lots of like double numbers. Yeah, there's only one, the physical goal, that's a 21-3. The rest are like a double. I've got lots of 8s as well.
Yeah.
And then I noticed in the chart where it explains the numbers in each category that the dominant vibration is an 8. So I just wondered if you could explain what that means, or the dominant vibration of 8, because I kind of have a knowing, but I also wanted to know what it means that I have so many sort of double numbers. Is that like a real main focus of that energy? Is that what that means? Or
When a double number means you have 4 more of the same number, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 8s.
Yeah.
It's an overall theme the soul's exploring. And
Okay.
your 8s are in karma, both karmic positions, and in spiritual goals. So they're lessons. So this is telling me you don't come to Earth very often, which is feel pretty strange here, all the heavy emotions.
Yeah, badly.
How old are you now, can I ask?
Well, I'll be 40 in like 3 months, so 39.
Yeah. So the soul is not used to this intense, polarized emotions of Earth. So it's just too intense. It's too much at times, isn't it?
Right, yeah, especially at the moment, the last few months, the last 4 or 5 months. My dad passed away in November, so since then, since November, it's just been unreal, really unreal. Yeah.
So basically, you're here to learn to ground, basically. And the reason you have all these double numbers is because the soul's saying there's a very specific thing I want you to do, Tisa. I want you to learn to ground here. Learn how the intense polarity of human emotions works, to move from the head into the body and feel your way through what's going on rather than think your way through. And I want you to learn to speak the truth, no matter what. And how good's your bullshit detector? Can you tell someone's not telling the truth? You can just smell it. Like, that just feels off.
Yeah.
And you're here to learn to become emotionally resilient. So there's very specific things your soul wants you to do, which is why they're all double numbers.
Right.
Okay. And this one, 21, is about learning to, that one's learning to endure and overcome great hardship.
Okay.
I'm very strong. And you're here too as a communicator, teacher of groups of people, just like Kat. But you have to learn to ground first to do that.
That's what I'm struggling with. I just can't ground to anything. I just always want to be free and learn, and it's really hard, really, really hard. I don't know what to go with that.
Yeah. Do you do anything like yoga or qigong or anything like that?
Yeah, no, sorry. I used to be, well, I still am, but for many years I was a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And now I'm wanted to go more into the mental health as well. So I've been studying counselling, so that I can help people mentally and physically. But for myself, everything is so physical, and I've realised now that it's too much. Everything I do is running, it's weights, it's nothing that really, it's very goal orientated. So there has to be a main goal behind it. Nothing is kind of soothing and slow. And I kind of feel that's what I need. Everything is very fast paced.
Yeah. What about a slow moving exercise like yoga or qigong will be good, because it'll help you bring consciousness to what your body is doing.
Okay.
So the goal in this case is about being present in the moment, not to lift so much weight or do so many miles, but being present in the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I never am.
Yeah, well, this is what this is about. Okay.
Okay.
Right. There's a good thing on YouTube called Yoga with Adrian, Adrien. It's free on YouTube.
Okay.
I suggest at least 30 to 60 minutes of yoga a day, if you can fit it in with kids and stuff like that. It'll really get you in your body at the beginning of the day.
Okay.
You know, before or just after the school run or something like that if you've got kids.
Yeah, I've got to, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I suggest. And the dominant vibration here is the channeling from God that goes with it.
Okay.
Which I will find for you. You've got the book, haven't you?
Yeah, I've got the book, yeah.
Yeah, so if we switch on the notes here in the software. Hi, LaQuandria. Nice to see you. Okay, we go here. I'm just going to generate your PDF.
Okay.
Here. Bottom, there's a channeling from God that goes with this. And it's a reminder of why you came.
Okay.
Just need to get to the bottom of this page. I'm going to read it out to you. So, yeah, let me just zoom. So I just want you to close your eyes and feel this can be quite strong emotionally.
Okay.
It's like a message from your sponsor, from God. I'll introduce you to the elemental spirits of nature who are also ready and willing to help you achieve either your eventual complete reunion with me or your complete separation from me. I have given you that freedom of choice. These elementals can be invoked by you for good or harm as you choose. Only remember you are now under the law of karma, and whatsoever you do unto others will come back to you multiplied. It is one of my irrevocable laws. Breathe that in. How's that feel?
Yeah, it makes it it makes sense. It makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Does that help?
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, yeah, it really does. Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. Okay. So who wants to ask a question next? Samantha, you had a question there. Do you want to fire away there?
I don't know, because I've had it read like the reading done, but I guess like how you explain it then, you explain it so well compared to, you know, when they're written down. So I guess it's good just to get, I don't know, verbally rather than written down, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we can look at the chart. The thing is that there's only so much you can do with a book. So
Yeah.
it had to be written so that everyone could use it and try and
Yeah.
carry as much of the original transmission, which is why we give instructions in the back on how to actually use it. Actually, how to use it. It's the best we could do within the, I had a 70,000 word limit. I had actually cut quite a lot out because we had more stuff we wanted to explain and how using it, but they said you got too many words. So that's what happened.
Because it makes you be a detective and try and figure it out yourself, though. It is good.
That's the idea of it. And the idea with the book is that you work out your interpretations by going through the book, and you just sit with what resonates.
Yeah.
It's not all going to resonate because it covers everything that's possible with each number. And we all have a subset of a particular aspect. Like in physical karma, you won't have it all. You just have some of it. So everyone will have it slightly differently. And the idea is to see, well, how far have you progressed through different aspects? How do they relate to each other? And what's running at the moment? Because it changes over time. The soul moves around the aspects and triggers different things that you might have noticed certain patterns happen for a few days, weeks, or months, and that sort of goes away and something else happens. Yeah. And you realize that thing hadn't been running for quite a few months, but now it's turned up again. So the idea is the soul is going to move you around the whole thing. Yeah. So the book takes you so far, but what's really needed is like something in person like this, or a full reading, where you can actually you can identify exactly where you are and take you from that point and how to move forward. Okay, so that's what happens. So do you want to have a quick look, do you? I'll have a quick look.
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay.
I want to do the trading as well, but yeah, just to get an idea at this point in time. But yeah.
Yeah, let's find out where you are, because that requires a human being. There's only so much you can actually automate with this sort of stuff. Okay, so let's put your common name in here. Okay. Okay, Samantha. All right. So what's on the birth certificate? Is your middle name?
Yeah, Jane, Jane.
And Kilroy's the surname still on the birth certificate?
Yeah.
Okay. Leave your birthday out and we'll put today's date in. Okay. So I think in this case, it's best you ask me the main question you have about your life. And can I also ask how old are you at the moment? That gives me some idea.
I'm 32.
Okay, so you're in the awakening now by the sounds of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that looks the same as what I've got on written down.
Yeah. So what's your main question? What's your main question about your life?
I guess my like spiritual gifts, really, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so you're like Tisa here, you're the here to learn to ground, but you've only got 1/8. You don't come here very often. So you need to learn how the polarity of human emotions work and come into your body to feel all that, which may be challenging for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're here to heal your heart, because it's saying here there was a betrayal or big disempowerment for you when you were younger.
Mm.
So what, if you're willing to share that, what was that? So I've got some idea what you're dealing with.
I've had quite a bit of like heartbreak like throughout like my younger years, I guess. I've learned a lot in that aspect.
Okay, so this dragon is about someone betrays you or something bad happens. There's some sort of disempowerment or abuse of some sort, which leads to a broken heart here. So your job is to, first off, overcome the disempowerment, heal the trauma of whatever happened, or multiple things by the sounds of it. That'll then allow you to heal your heart. This is the trigger point. This is not stuff you see in the book. And it will also help you come in your body, because part of you's left the body because it's just too traumatic. You're too sensitive being here. I think it looks like you're a real empath, Samantha.
Yeah, I do struggle.
Empath, psychic, big emotional sponge. Processing everyone else's garbage. Okay, so that makes it challenging to come into the body.
Yeah.
So you're here to come into your power, open your heart, ground on earth and feel the emotions, and speak pure spiritual truth. And be a pioneer, sharing that truth in the world, no matter what anyone says. So this is saying you were persecuted a lot in past lives. Lots of witch burning and all that sort of stuff went on.
Yeah.
So it's a fear of death, literally death, in your cells from speaking the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you want to say it, but you can't even open your mouth. So, if I do that, I'm dead. Yeah?
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're here to overcome big challenges, to become strong. This is the divine mother aspect of God, and be a teacher, communicator. As you feel worthy to be loved. It's actually similar to what Tisa had. And you're here to actually get out in society and be really successful, okay, at taking the heart-based group work. You're here to work with groups, with truth. That's the mission. Okay. How's that sound?
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and to learn to do it the easy way. Do you feel you're strong enough from all the challenges?
Yeah, I've done a lot of work since all of that. If it was years ago, definitely not. But where I am at the moment, I've done a lot of healing, a lot of peace.
Yeah. So you've had enough of doing it the hard way?
Yeah.
Okay. Because some people want to keep going. They want to keep breaking rocks with their heads and get bloodied. It happens a lot. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that means you're ready. You're ready to step up, to come into your power with an open heart, to teach, share truth in a grounded, connected way, emotionally connected way with people. It's the mission. Okay.
Sounds awesome.
Is that clear enough?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Plenty to do. Okay. Let's see. Natalie. I should ask Laquandria, thanks for showing up. What brought you here and what questions do you have? Everyone's still having me say, just I got some fear for that.
Well, I've read the book, I've worked my chart. In my chart, it's nothing but a bunch of double numbers except for my spiritual goals and physical talent. Both of those are 13-4.
Yeah.
So I guess wanting to know more about, I guess, the spiritual goals part and the physical talent with the 13-4, and then everything else is doubles.
Okay, I'll take a quick look at your chart, then we'll go to you, Natalie, because then people have had enough
Okay.
of it. They've got enough birth reading energy, then I can explain how overlays work, which is not in the book at all. Okay, so you're happy to do that? Like Andre, we're going to talk about your life.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so where are you? You've got up early. You're in America, aren't you?
Yes, I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, so it's 5 in the morning.
It is. Well, 6 now, but yeah.
6 in the morning? You're very dedicated.
6 a.m.
Okay. All right. So let's put your name up here. Get that spelling right.
It's LAQUANDRIA.
That look okay? Looks like what you've got on. Yeah.
Yes, that's fine.
All right. And what's on your birth certificate? Same name?
Middle name.
Yeah.
Dion, DEION.
Just slow down. B.
D as in dog.
Yeah.
EION.
Yeah.
It's the E after the D. I'm sorry.
Like that.
And then birth name, the last name. Well, right now I'm going by Russ Johnson, so you can add Rusk in there. But
I just need to slow down. What's actually on the birth certificate? That's what I need to know to make sure I got that right.
okay, that's right.
That's on the birth certificate. LaQuandria Dion Johnson.
Yep, my birth name, last name is RUSK.
Like that. Rusk.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll say you're okay with me talking about this. All right. Okay. Now, is that right?
Well, yeah, that's my birth chart, but I did my current name now where I go by Russ Johnson. But even in my birth chart, I still have a bunch of doubles.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just change once I got married, but they're still doubles.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't work for the current name in the same way. It works differently, which I'll show with Natalie's name. So the book is only designed for the birth certificate name. Okay. The book is like the cake of your life of main frequencies. And in a different name, like your married name, is that right? Johnson's a married name. It's like a layer of icing on the cake, which we'll get to with Natalie's name. All right. So yes, you've got all these double numbers here, lots of them. And you've got, so it's saying there's a very specific pattern you're here to experience of coming into your power, healing the wounded heart. There's 6 9s here. So lots of issues of power and the wounded heart. So did you have a really tough childhood? Yeah. How are you doing now?
Better.
Yeah.
Better. I am. I've been working on it, working through it. But yeah, a whole lot better. Just like mentally, emotionally than what I was before.
Yeah. Because having 9 disempowerment of both karmic positions is very tough. It means it's quite severe disempowerment as a kid. You're basically here to come into your power. Fortunately, that talent matches this one, so it helps you overcome the positive energy, overcome the negative expression here. Okay, but you're here to come into your power, heal the wounded heart, and then find your own unique structural truth and share it with groups of people out in the world. That's why you came. Okay, so this is a really focused chart. Even it's all double numbers, but it's all the same number. A lot of the same number here. So you've got 6 9s and 6 7s here. So the dominant vibration is there's two channelings for you. Do you want me to read them to you?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So this is a reminder of why you've come to Earth. Let me generate the PDF. At the bottom. So I'm going to read both of these out to you. I want you to close your eyes and just feel this. This is the message from God for you, Mitochondria. In your role apart from me, and yet a part of me, you will encounter many who are seeking as you are, through the labyrinth of experiences, the answers to the problems they've created when they chose their will instead of mine. They'll look to me and say, please help me, then close their eyes and ears when I draw near. If you choose to keep the channels open between me and thee, I will instruct you to answer their pleas for help. You will serve as my liaison, bringing people together with people and people together with situations for which they have implored my help. So just the 7, and then the 9 builds on top of that. You now stand upright as a total reflection of me. My wisdom is your wisdom. My strength and power is yours. You have been given the ability to express my love to all who are capable of receiving and accepting it. You may hide what I've given you under a shadow, or you may spread your wings and share it with everyone with whom you come in contact. You will learn that the more you give of me, the more you will receive in return and in like kind. How's that sounding to you?
It resonates.
Yeah.
Because I spent the majority of my life hiding.
Yeah. I'm to come out and show you dragon, Mitochondria. Show the dragon of the 9 and draw people to you as you come out of hiding. Show your true self. That's what you meant to do. You're here to catalyze people to awaken in a big way. That's the mission. Okay. Hope that helped.
Thank you. It did. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay, Natalie. Should we look at what the icing of your your son's name does to your birth name? You ready for that?
Do you want me to put both our names in the chat?
Yeah, put both birth certificate names in the chat. Yeah, that'll make it quicker for me. I can. How old is he? I can see him right there.
Oh, he's just turned 3.
Hello. Hello. Hi. Hi. Okay. Okay, so let's put your current name in here. And how old are you now, Natalie?
37.
Okay.
38, sorry. 38.
Okay, let me just grab you from a message from the chat here. Right. Pardon?
Pardon?
I'm just putting the date in there.
Ah.
Okay, and then I'm gonna read this differently now because we're looking at the effect of your son's name. Okay, let's get his name off the chat. Okay. So we read them differently if we're going to look at compare names. It's easier that way. Okay. So, what's the main question you have here, Natalie?
Just wanting to know, like, why we've chosen each other, how we're, what I should be doing to help him, and what he's come here to help me do.
Okay. All right, we can do that. I'll give a quick reading. You're here to find your own unique structure of truth in the world, both physically and spiritually. to overcome being lost and find out how it really works. Does it sound about right?
Yeah.
And to express pure spiritual truth out in society as a teacher with an open heart as you heal disempowerment as a child. Okay. All right. Harley here, he's here to learn to come into his power. But he's a positive, that's a negative expression of the 9. He's a positive expression here, so he can overcome that. So the key thing for him is to overcome his disempowerment. Okay. This is, a lot of it's from past lives.
Yeah.
Find his structure of truth, so you need to give him lots of structure.
Yes.
Lots of support to empower himself. Okay. And to heal the wounded heart from the disempowerment. So what sort of disempowerment did he have up here? You're aware of?
His father walked out when he was 4 months old, and it's already affecting him emotionally.
Yeah. Okay. So why did his dad walk out? Just if you're willing to share that, just so I got some idea what happened.
Oh, he chose to be a drug addict.
Okay. All right. So basically, the disempowerment by loss of father led to a broken heart. So it's about helping Harley become into his power. Okay. And make him feel safe to show his true self, the hidden part here, which got wounded and the inner child scared of being rejected again.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's here to explore spiritually. So support him to explore spiritually lots of different experiences in the spiritual world.
Okay.
It's great movement. And he's got good resiliency to cope with that. And keep him focused. Does he have temper tantrums? Like if he doesn't get
he's got a few behavioural issues, yeah.
Yeah, because the 6 here is about he'll be quite scattered, wanting to go off and do his own thing, lots of different directions. So you want to focus on the thing that matters the most to him and get him to complete it. This is the goal. Here he is. Focus on where he wants to go.
Yeah.
And give him little steps, because if he feels he can't take a great leap forward, he'll get stuck and frustrated and angry.
Yeah, exactly right.
So show him the steps, and he'll get distracted. To show him how to get there. And don't let him get on something new, which seems just as big, another bright, shiny object.
Yeah.
And he's here to basically ground here a lot. So he needs to be out in nature a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's his chart. But the way it works here is that, so this is the next step beyond the book. This is like the cake of your life. And what happens is that when you're looking at relationships, the numbers on someone else's birth chart flow across into this adjacent same aspect like this, which is why you can't understand, well, you couldn't understand, say, your name by using the book in the same way. In this case, this is like level 2 of the work. These numbers have a direct effect, and this 9, because it's very powerful, catalyzes you to break up old structures, okay, and to release imprints from childhood. So I'd say he's really pressed your buttons a lot, hasn't he?
Yeah, he sure has. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's here to basically, this dragon's burning out all the things that you malabsorbed as a kid. So you get clean, and he's also triggering you to ground.
Yeah. He has. He was the trigger for me.
Yeah, and he's basically giving you structure here and support so you can get out in society. Did you find it difficult to see what's true? That situations would change on you. You look at something and thinking, I'm not sure what's going on here, because you're moving up and down on the spring.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So then what he's doing is, it's important not to make a decision until you're actually seeing the same thing consistently for, it could be hours, days, or weeks. And he helps you get there faster. He's objective. He says, energetically, he can feel in his heart what's true. So he helps you see the truth of what's going on. Okay.
Yeah.
And this 2 here, this emotional resilience spring, or positive 2, helps, it goes to this talent gateway. It helps this negative expression of the 2. It helps you become more resilient. Okay. So have you become more emotionally stable since you had them?
100%. Everything, my whole life turned around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 6 here, the focus of this helps you decide because you can't see, sevens can't decide who they are because they haven't acknowledged their true self, the wounded part, because they want to hide it away. Okay, because we don't know who we are as sevens. We can't know who anyone else is. But his focus of the 6 says, Mom, you are here. This is who you are. So have you found out, have you moved out away from the illusion of who you think you are to finding out who you truly are with him?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely been happening.
Yeah. So he's good for you. This kid was sent to
been
wake you up.
positive. Yeah.
He's your teacher, actually.
Yeah, I thought so.
This is what they usually are. Okay. And this 8 here is about helping you ground.
Yeah.
Okay. And it goes the other way as well. Okay. You're here to give him structure, truth, and groundedness. You're here to help him. This 2 helps him find out who he is.
Yeah.
This 3 brings him out of hiding. This 7 gets him focused. So when you have 2 people, we have all these energy interactions going on. And we create these relationships. We design them at a soul level so that we can actually grow, which is why we have relationships. That's the most important workshop you can ever do, especially with kids, because you've got them forever. Okay. All right. So we teach that in level 2 of the soul contract work. In level 1, we just teach how to do a good birth reading, but this is another level of complexity. Okay, I was going to write a book on it, but I started and it got far too complex, and I realized it can only be taught live how this works. It can't be taught in the book, which is why I didn't finish the book. I had it all laid out, the structure, but then I thought this is actually impossible to express this. It has to be done live, which is why there isn't a second book on the subject. Okay, so how does that help, Natalie?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Kiafun, you want to speak. So if you just say yes to become a panelist, then we can see you if you're up for that. You can come to the panelist room and just switch your video on, then we can have a chat. Wait for. Here we go. Okay. If you just say yes to the video, then I can see you and connect with you. Okay. Hi, Kiafun. Where are you from? Hang on.
Hi, David.
Sounds there. Okay.
All right, you guys can hear me. Yeah, so I'm Collins. I'm from Cameroon.
Yeah.
And been listening into everyone's. You're reading the charts, and it's quite powerful, right? I just wanted to maybe, if you get a chance, you can go through mine.
Yeah, we can do that. We'll do that right now. Okay.
Okay.
And how did you find it? How did you find this work?
A friend of mine referred your book to me, so I went to the mall and I got the book and I started reading it, and then I kind of went through the charts and started watching your videos on YouTube. So I kind of got to you through a friend who has been trying to answer the question of our purpose. What are we doing here? And yeah, that's how I got to start reading your book.
Okay. So you bought it in Cameroon, the book, did you?
No, I bought it in Malaysia. I'm currently in Malaysia.
Okay.
In Kuala Lumpur, yeah.
Okay. I've never heard of the book actually being available in Africa. That's why I just wondered.
No, I bought it from Kinokuniya in Malaysia. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what's your birth name?
That will be, there's a hyphen between the E and A.
Okay, that won't affect it. It's a sound.
Okay, and then the last one is can I just type it on the chat?
You put in the chat, so it's probably quicker. Pick it up there.
Done.
Okay, go on. Okay, can you say that to me? Pronounce that for me so I can hear that.
It's Kiafun Collins Kinzeka.
Okay, it's pretty much as it's written, right? Okay. We'll use it as it's written, okay?
Okay.
It's probably a phonetic version of it, but we'll keep it simple.
Okay.
This will still give us some useful information. All right. Okay, so what's your main question about your life, Kirfun?
First of all, why do I have a whole lot of nines and fives and fours? And I'd like to understand what the 11-2 means in terms of soul destiny.
Okay. Well, you're here to learn it. You guys have a lot of nines. We just had that one with Natalie. Everyone's got nines. So you're here to come into your power because you're nines in both karmic positions. It's very similar. This is like Quandria, same chart. So you're here to come into your power first, to overcome the misuse of power in past lives. But fortunately, you have a talent 9 here, which will help you with this one. It's all about power. So tell me about how that's played out. How power issues played out for you in terms of how you were treated as a kid and what goes on with life now. So I've got some idea what you've been up to.
I would say life has been quite tough, David, as a kid. I lost my dad early on. I think before I was born, a month before I was born, and raised by a single mom. I have a brother and sister, and then later on in my life, I lost my first daughter. And recently, 2 years ago, I lost my mom. So it's been a lot of struggle and pain, David.
Okay.
And sometimes I just ask myself, what's going on?
Okay. Sorry to hear all that. Well, that's to do with the 11. 11 is death to life. Okay, so that's the reason you manifested all these deaths. And this is about the point of this lifetime with the 11 is to have an existing structure of who you are. Someone dies, the structure gets shattered. And you go into chaos and you're not sure what's going on. And then the idea is to let the new structure build. So this is how your soul's growing. A new structure is being built, which is a different you. And then someone else passes over. There's a shattering again, chaos, and then another structure is built. So basically, your life is about growing through these shatterings and rebuildings. And each of these is a different you, a different version of you. Most people grow gradually over time like that, but you grow in big steps through the shattering of the structure, through someone leaving. It's one of the more challenging ways of learning. So it's about taking time, just allowing the structures to shatter, going through the grieving process, and rebuilding each time. Does that sound about right?
It does, David. It's been each of these experiences, you're right, has led me to become a different person in each time. I've had to go through that. It's been tough. And yes, you're right. I've had to pretty much rebuild almost everything around me. Nonetheless, it's been a fruitful life, I think, so far. A lot of good things as well.
Yeah. So, and the souls who were with you, who passed over, this was the agreement to give you that experience. Okay, so the timing was all worked out between you. So it's not an accident that happened. God doesn't have it in for you, just to be clear on that. It's just the way the soul wants to learn this time. So it's about embracing the shift as you rebuild a new you. So it's a fast track way of growth that's going on. Okay.
Okay.
And I would also work on clearing the trauma of the disempowerment from childhood and the trauma from the loss. Okay. What I'll do.
If I can ask, how is that done?
I will put in the YouTube video, I'll put a whole list of trauma therapies to give you, and you can have a look at those and see what you think. But the key is to get at the trauma of the shattering, and then that'll enable you to build this new structure more easily, and the trauma of childhood as well from the disempowerment from the nines. Okay. Whoops, hang on. I just got to get back to this. So it's going to just chat around a little bit. Because you're really here to express spiritual truth. This is saying you're very sensitive as well. Yep, sound about right. Very sensitive. You're very sensitive emotionally here and here.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's had a big impact on you. It's probably thrown you off balance a lot because these big shocks squash that little spring. So it's about getting the shock out of your system, out of this hypersensitive 5, and off these 2 springs. So you can literally spring back emotionally back to life. Okay, because you're really here to share knowledge and empower others. That's why you come. Okay, does that help?
It does, David. Definitely does.
Okay. All righty. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's a pretty strong experience, very strong experiences you've had. Okay, people. Any other questions before I move on? Hope that's helped you guys. Okay. Tisa, another question.
Yeah, just the last one. At the beginning of the book, when you talk about the vibrations of all the different letters, which kind of leads up to us making our contracts, finding what our soul contracts are, I wondered if there was, if it was important, if there was a repeating letter that you have in your name. So, for example, I have the letter A in all of my names, and I have it twice in my middle name. And I just wondered if that vibration was also important in my contract, even though it's not there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I'll pull your chart up, Lisa, and we'll explain that.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay, close this. It's easier to do this if I stop the sharing initially, because sharing seems to slow it down. Yeah. Okay, found you. All right, we'll just generate that chart again. Now we'll share the screen again. Okay, so sharing's just starting to activate. So normally we just read the numbers here in the star, but you can also look at the numbers here, like you've got the A's here with the 1s.
Yeah.
Here with the 1, and here with the 1. So you can actually read these numbers before you even generate it. But this is about learning about your relationship to the masculine aspect of God.
Right.
Okay, that's what that's about.
Okay.
And you can actually read the numbers here, the frequencies, to get some cool. So what you're trying to do is your soul's trying to fulfill all these energies, work them through, even sitting in your name before you even analyze it.
Okay.
So these are literally, how are you in your relationship with men?
Oh.
So that sums it up.
Yeah, no, do you know what it is? I seem to pick men that like they drain me. Like I'm very much like a mother figure, and I just find it with 2 kids. I just find it really draining. Like I look to men for support because that's how I am. I view men as being very very powerful, very masculine, very supportive, and they are, but they tend to drain me, like emotionally and mentally, and I don't know what that relationship's about. I don't get it. I don't get what I'm doing wrong.
Well, I think the thing here is that we need to look at the 8. The 8 is about this amoeba energy. You have to set clear emotional boundaries with others, including men, so you don't get over involved in their stuff.
Ah, okay.
Does that sound about right? You need to, this is me and this is you. If you get over involved in their stuff, because you got it in 3 places, you're going to get drained because they're going to suck energy from you.
Yes, that's what happens.
because you're in their business, emotional business, which is none of your business
Okay.
in the end.
And it's
So-
really hard because I just want to help, and then I obviously help and get involved too much. And then when I try and come away, they're so dependent upon it. It's hard for me to catch.
Yeah, well, you get attached. It gets very sticky energetically.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
You got to ask yourself. So do the grounding stuff we talked about.
Yeah.
And you realize, oh, that's actually nothing to do with me. That's your stuff.
Yeah.
Start to realize that's the big lesson of this life.
Yeah.
You need to form a clear boundary emotionally, embody yourself emotional body in here, visit others, but not get over involved.
Okay. Okay. So just in general, with relationships with everyone, even I want to help people,
anyone.
Yeah, I can't take right. It makes complete sense, because that's clearly something that I do, and I don't even realize I'm doing it. And I thought it was because I was quite an empath, but I think it's just like a talent that I seem to have.
You are an empath.
Right. Okay.
You are an empath. We look at your current name, seeing we got onto it with Natalie. There'll be more will be revealed there. So let me just load that up.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say my current name, do you mean? Oh, right. Yeah. So because I don't go by with my middle name. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So here, this is the divine feminine. You're learning to take care of people unconditionally. This is why you get over involved with them. You just want to love them.
Yeah.
That's the reason. And this is the issue with the masculine here. This is disempowerment by the masculine. So was your dad absent emotionally?
Yes.
Or physically, or both?
I'll probably say both, actually. Although I saw him, but yeah, no, both.
Yeah, this is the reason men are like they are, because you fall in love with men who, our amygdala, our brain is getting to fall in love with men just like your father, even though it may not seem like that initially. So that it wants to resolve that issue. So if you resolve the issue of feeling disconnected from the masculine within you, then your different sort of men will turn up. You can still love them, but with boundaries.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll put a link for you guys who want to do some deep, and I'll put something for divine healing, which is what Almira, who used to run the Centre for Conscious Ascension with me, she developed with a couple of colleagues of ours, if you want to have some healing on that. Okay. I'll put a link for that. You can check that out. There's some sample webinar videos. Let's try those. That'll help.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Because the soul contract gives you the spiritual map of where your life's going, and divine healing clears the pathway on that map so you can move forward. Okay, so you have the structure of what the numbers are, what they're doing, then you have the means of unblocking the whole thing and moving forward. That'll probably help you. It'll help all of you, actually, given what you've just told me. Some of you guys got some very extreme life situations you're dealing with. So, any other questions? Anybody? No? Are you waving your arms, Samantha, or are you just patting the cat?
Patting the cat, but I do have I put it in the chat box. You mentioned a really good meditation on your previous recording on YouTube, but I couldn't seem to find the link. I know you mentioned you were going to pop it in down below, but it wasn't there. Are you able to put it on maybe this one?
Okay, what was it to help you with?
Oh, it's just I can't remember what you said. It was that you just said it was a really good meditation. I don't know if it was like for spiritual awakening or something along the lines of that.
Have a look. Was that the webinar on Friday?
No, it was one a little bit further back, I think.
Okay. Well, why don't you send me the link for the webinar? Email it to me.
Okay.
You got my email.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find the one I was actually talking about. When did I talk about it? How far through the webinar?
I had a look at I watched a few different YouTubes. It was one of them, but yeah, I know you definitely mentioned a good meditation. I know you said you'll pop it in the show note sort of thing, but it wasn't in there, and I was like, oh damn it.
Okay, well, see, you pick the one you think it's in.
Okay.
I'll have a listen to it again and figure out what I was talking about, because I can't always remember the detail.
That's okay. Just the other question as well. I know you're having a training in May. Do you know the next dates after that one that you're going to do?
Yeah, that's our Asia Pacific one, which will work for you.
Yeah.
Where are you again? You're in Melbourne.
Yeah, I'm in Australia, but I'll actually be in the UK then. So I'll be traveling back to Australia. So I won't be able to make that one.
Okay. We do an Asia Pacific one, which runs 6 a.m. UK or 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Time. We do that about that time, but the other ones run. The next one after that is in October, but that'll run from 12:30 UK, so it'll be about 11 at night for you.
Okay. All right.
It's the morning.
Okay.
So which day are you going to miss? Are you going to miss?
I think it's like the last two. So I fly back on the 6th of May and then don't get back to Australia until I think like the 8th of May. So it's like just the end of the training that I'll miss.
Okay. Yeah, no, you need to definitely get to that. So the next time there is an Australian friendly one will be about the same time next year.
Okay.
But the other one, there's one I'm running in October. Let me find it for you. If you, I can look on the calendar here. Because we run a Western Hemisphere one and an Asia Pacific one. The Western Hemisphere runs from about 4:30 in California to about 9:30 p.m. 4:30 in the morning in California to 9:30 p.m. out in Poland and even later in India. And then we start 6 hours earlier, 6.5 hours earlier for Asia Pacific from the Middle East out to New Zealand. When the third Australian said to me, if you can make it earlier, we'll come. So we did. That's how that came about. So the next one here, I'm looking it up in October. The next one, UK one, Western Hemisphere one, runs the 25th of October to the 30th. Okay, with 1 day off on the 28th. So what people tend to do in Australia for those ones, because it's about 11 p.m. starts, people it's like going on a long haul flight. They adjust your schedule, they swap the schedule around. If you've got kids and they trying to make some adjustment, and they take the no jet lag tablets, homeopathics, and just float the body clock. And so they basically switch the whole time, and then people manage that way. Okay, that's how they tend to do it. But there won't be another time zone for anyone for you till May next year. But if you want to come to the nearest one, it's after May. It's that one. Or we have one starting this Friday. If you want. One starts this Friday. I'll find the dates. Hang on. Now we're on to this. If you want to have it earlier.
Sorry, David, did you say that training in October, was that UK time as well? Was that convenient for me?
Yeah, the UK one runs, well, there's a UK one starting this Friday.
Yeah, I can't do that one.
Yeah, well, the timing, so this is the one starting on the 17th on Friday. Okay, 2 weekends, 17th, 19th, 20th, 26th of March. These same timings apply to those October dates. So it runs 12:30 to 8:30 UK time. Okay, so that'll be, for you, that'll be about 11 hours time difference, Samantha. It's 11:30 p.m. So yeah, it'll be an all-nighter. But that's the other way to get to it, okay? And in October, I think it's the same sort of time. Or it might be a 10:30 start, depends on whether daylight saving, where that is complicated. So this is the next one, guys. We run 2 Western Hemisphere ones at these times in March and October. We run the Asia Pacific one in May. That's a cycle. Okay. So it's up to you whether, which one you can manage. It's a bit of a stretch, but people manage it. If you can't make the May one, Samantha. And you can find out more here at soulcontractreadingtraining.com, the details. And the training, I'll explain the structure of the training and we're onto that, okay? Or how it actually works. All right, just briefly. So basically what you learn is how to give a good birth chart reading, just like I've done here, but it's much longer. I just gave you a little taster. So you'll be able to help spiritual seekers understand their soul contract, decode the spiritual map of their life, how to overcome their karma, express more of their talents and achieve their goals and manifest their life purpose. That's what the training will do. And so they'll have a very profound understanding of who they are, just like you've experienced. And if you're a therapist, some of you are clearly therapists, you'll be able to accurately guide them through all your ongoing work with them. It becomes a baseline core structure for targeting all the other things you do to help people. And it's very efficient because it means it cuts through all the untruth of the ego and gets you to what's important. And it builds great trust with the clients, and you're going to get much faster results, so they're going to be a lot happier in their progression. What other bits? So basically what we do is that we teach you, we transmit to you experientially. So you learn how the 22 letters of Hebrew work, and we open your channel to connect with higher consciousness and your guides to help to bring this work through. So because you will read the book, it's not about learning more about the book. Okay. So it's where the book carries a certain transmission, but what we do in the training is that we immerse you in the field of the work, so you become it. So it's not about knowing, it's about becoming. So it's an experiential activation. We spend the first 3 days, which is in this case in spring, we have time, we split it between the first 3 days is where we will we'll explain what the 22 numbers mean based upon your direct life experience. And we select the aspects from we hopefully get 22 different aspects with enough people in the class. We explain what those mean, and you will discuss the pain and the joy of a karmic 22-4 or karmic 9. And everyone else will never forget that because they had a direct experience of what you went through. You spend 3 days in the field doing that till we get through all the numbers. Well, we get through most of them. We split it over the 5 days. So you become the work in the first 3 days. And then because the bodily transmission, in the last 2 days, you give and receive readings, where we teach you how to hold sacred space to channel through the structure of this work. Okay, so this is not about trying to remember more stuff and holding in your brain. We teach you how to let go and have a no mind space. And you'll be amazed at the quality of the reading you'll give. And you're asking about the difference between the book and this. You really see it then. So basically you attune to your partner and you give and receive the reading in Zoom breakout rooms. So you'll be amazed how well you go because you become the work. So actually this is about letting go and forgetting everything in the end and just connecting to the universe. But the structure which you've got from the first part of the training is already in your system. Okay, so that's how the training works. So you will leave with a bit of practice being able to give good readings and wake people up with this power of the sacred work. That's actually what we do in the training. And we have ongoing support. We have community, free community at the moment. And we also have support programs if you want, as optionals, if you want help in integrating it into your practice and getting it out in the world. There's a big difference between being in a bubble, a fifth-dimensional bubble of the training, and getting out in the real world. We help you do that. So your clients will get a deep feeling of peace because I've heard the truth, just like you've heard the truth of your life. A relief actually that this crazy life actually makes some sort of sense. And for those who feel like victims or have really strong disempowering experiences, they can actually take charge and claim their life back. Okay. And so basically what we're doing is we're showing them as a map, how to align to their true path and really touch them at a deep level so they can connect back with life rather than numbing out and just trying to survive to the end, which is what most people are doing. Okay. So yeah. With a bit of practice, you'll be delivering good readings, okay? And full cost is £718 or about $835 and a deposit, which is included within this price, is £277 or $322. Okay, so it's the same also for the Asia Pacific stream, just that we start at 6 a.m. UK. And in East Coast of Australia, it's 3 to 11 p.m. So everyone said, can you make it earlier? So I did. That's the earliest I can get up to teach. Okay, does that help, Samantha, give you a few options there? Okay.
Yeah,
So
that helps. Thank you.
there are very few people doing it in Australia, so it's a big oyster. There's only a few practitioners in Australia. That's a completely untapped market. The book's reasonably popular, but there aren't many practitioners. Only 1, 2, 3 or 4 at the most. Big country. So
Maybe people can't be bothered. I don't know.
what's that?
Maybe they can't be bothered. I
Well,
don't know.
I think it's a time zone thing, which is why we made it available. And the third Australian said to me in about a month, "Can you make it earlier?" So we did. Because I said, "Well, come then." All right. Any other questions, people? Still got time.
I still have the one I asked in the beginning.
Okay, so say it again, Eleanor. Should we look at your?
Well, it would be nice.
Yeah. So let me have a look. Dig out your chart.
It's just because it keeps on reoccurring, and I just wonder what to do with it. If I should keep at it or just give up.
Yeah. Can you remind me of your birth name again to search for you on the system? Because I've forgotten it because I've got used to you as your new name.
Yeah. My birth name was Christine.
CHR or
CHR. Yeah, CHR. Christine.
There you go. I found you.
Because I don't know. In order to be able to do this work, I need to be able to fund it. And I seem to be in a constant financial, not so great situation because of these incidents with new bosses and job situations.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got you. Just looking at the there's quite a lot of entries here. I just need to find the right one.
And of course, I don't know how the new name affects that.
Okay. What do we finally settle on? It's Eleanor Oline Rosendahl, wasn't it?
That was it, yeah.
Okay. Found it. Okay, so let's share the screen now. I found that. It's easier then. Okay. So say the question again, everybody, about being self-employed.
I should say it again?
Yeah, just say it again so everyone's got.
Yeah. Well, my question is that I have recently become a naturopath, and I would like to work on my own, but I've moved into the country where it's pretty far out. So I need to find like basic jobs I can have on the side while trying to build my own practice.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I constantly bump into issues with bosses where it just seems that we can't seem to find a match, even though I really do try to make an effort. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the thing is because you're inherently very powerful, and the nines press their buttons.
Pushing their buttons.
Pressing their buttons.
Yeah, that was the sense I got here recently.
Yeah, and this name's quite strong as well, with nines in both talent positions, which we needed to help you come into your power.
Right.
So we had to make a choice there. And part of you needs to be in charge. And I think that's the other thing that presses their buttons. Part of you is better than they do about what should be done. Does that sound about right?
not knowing better than they do, but I would say that I have become less submissive than what I used to be.
Yeah. So you're challenging to a boss. Okay.
But I'm also an asset.
I know, but it's just your energy.
They can't see that.
Yeah.
Somehow. I've found one who can, and I love her to death, but it's taken me, I don't know, 20 years. And I need to add up with other jobs, because of my financial situation. But I just remember you mentioned this once, that it would be perhaps a good idea if I was to work on my own, but building your own practice takes,
it takes time.
Yeah, it does. So I need to have something else on the side.
Yeah, it takes time.
So would you suggest that I just become more quiet and submissive?
No. I would say use the power of sixes, which is creativity.
Yeah.
Okay, because you have the ability to create what you do and don't want. So I would suggest letting go the picture of reality that you're going to get a boss who's not going to like you.
Right.
And change it to the focus, or you find a compatible boss. Because if you found a boss with similar energies, they wouldn't have a problem with you.
Exactly.
Okay, so focus on the type of boss you want, not what you don't want to happen, because that's why it's creating it again.
Right. So if it happens, I should just let go of it very quickly and move on.
Yeah, it's no point.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
because this new one that is where I do find a match, she's amazing, and I will do anything for her.
Yeah, so focus on creating bosses who in work situations which are welcoming to you in code. I think because you had such a traumatic time with this, your ego is focusing on I don't want it to happen again, therefore it does, because you've got sixes here.
Yeah.
Manifesting it. Okay, so it's change of focus here.
Right.
That's the key.
Yeah.
So if you've manifested one good boss, that means you know you can do it.
Right. Can you see anything, according to the financial situation? Well, is it that would be the same thing, to focus on all the money I have yet to have?
Focus on a positive financial situation, because the threes here is the unworthiness to be loved.
Yeah.
What happens is that it tends to look at its own navel. Have got one of them myself. It's saying there's not enough. Therefore, it's what you get. So it's about realizing you're doing that, and then focusing on how you actually want it to look.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's about letting go, focusing on a better work situation and a better abundance.
Right.
And then you can use the divine healing webinars to clear what comes up.
Right.
Yeah, it's all about focus here. I think that's the key for you. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Because you have evidence that it works. So focus on what you want to create. That applies to everybody here. Because our ego will naturally focus on everything we don't like, because we've had a pretty tough time. Most of you had a pretty tough time. Focus on what you do want.
Yeah.
Okay. And come on in divine healing if you want. 1 in June. So then, if you focus on what you do want, all the hidden ego stuff in the contract's going to come up that's in the way. It's trying to hide away. The ego's trying to not let you see it, especially given what you know now. Okay. Focus on what you want to create, and you clear what's in the ego that's in the way. And you stay focused on where you want to go. You don't stay focused on all the stuff you don't like. Not about ignoring it. It's just not giving it any more attention than necessary, because by the law of attraction, the more you focus on it, the more you're going to get.
Right.
And if it pops up, you clear it, and you go back to focusing on the positive thing you want. Like Tisa, better relationships with men. Natalie, your son, having a better, some sort of better role model. Maybe, a more conscious partner for you, whatever you want to do. Achondria, being in your power. Because the ego doesn't want you to do any of that. So aside from what I've just said today, where you want to go, put 80, 90% of your energy into that, and the other 10% to clear the garbage that will come up from the ego. So you can't do that. And you say, well, yes, I can. And then you clear that, and you'll get there a lot faster. Because you probably we all manifest probably 2 or 3 or 4 times more emotional separation junk to deal with than we need to, because that's where our ego is focused. And we don't know we're doing it. It's called, having our head in our navel. I did that to the age of about 45. And Mary said to me, your head's in your navel, Nicolas. You're focusing on all the bad stuff. And I realized she's right. Didn't like to hear that, but she's right. And once I pulled my head out and focused on where I want to go, life changed. Better stuff happened. Okay, so we're sort of our own worst enemy, the way our ego works. But now I've told you that, it's a secret to actually getting to what you want. Because we want to go clear the stuff that comes up in the way, because it will come up. The ego is going to try and stop you. Clear that, like with divine healing. And after a while, you notice life's getting better because I'm focusing on what I want to create. So it may be a novelty to your ego to focus on where you want to go. Okay? Because it's very challenging down here. It's very challenging. No one gets a free ride down here, as you might have noticed. But this is the way to get there, connect to higher consciousness. And as you clear your body of all the programming by flushing it out, by focusing on where you want to go, that means the higher consciousness can come in, so you get a positive feedback loop. The more that higher consciousness comes, that starts to go to the matrix and manifesting the stuff you want. And then things get better and better. And then you realize, a few years down the line, I'm living a completely different life. And all the things I focused on are starting to happen. Unbelievable. Like Eleanor, you now found a boss that you like to work with. Last time I talked to you, that was never happening, was it?
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So this is how you create your reality, guys, but you know the map, you know the tools in your contract to create whatever you desire. And if you're online to what I've said about your contracts, and you clear the stuff in the way, it'll start happening, the good stuff, eventually. You've got to work at it. But what alternative do you have? You're at the stage of life where you've had enough of the old stuff. So there's only one choice, really. Let's get on with the good stuff. Anything else is a waste of time and energy and more pain. Has everyone had enough pain? Hand up. Enough pain? Would you want a bit more? No. So that's how we learn, you see. Okay. I think I've said everything I wanted to say. Any final comments or questions? It was a good session, guys. Thanks for bearing your souls. I think everyone's learned a lot from this. So, Natalie, you've still got your hand up. You got another question? Or?
Yes, sorry, I don't know if we've got enough time. I just had one question. My whole life I've had a dream to become a vet, and that I made that dream when I was 5 years old and never thought it was going to be possible, but I reached that dream quite early in my life. And I've been doing it for 10 years and I'm happy doing it, but I just feel like there's something more, but I don't know even where to begin because I'm so happy doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, let me pull your chart up here and we'll answer that quickly. So running that chart, I'm just going to share the screen. And oh, my pen. Okay, we haven't been going. Okay, so you're a vet because 8s are about grounding with the earth and it's saying you probably connect better with animals and humans. Does that sound about right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that was to ground you.
Yeah.
Okay, here and here. But ultimately, you're here to bring the structure of spiritual truth, pure spiritual truth as a teacher or groups of people to empower them. The vet's just training, so you can learn to relate to life and be grounded.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, do you work for yourself?
No.
You don't?
I tried that. I didn't like it.
Okay. So structure for you is work out what you want to teach and then maybe go part-time in your job, if that's possible. Yeah. That's what I did. I was in the corporate world in London for a long time. And I started this business on the side in the weekends. I eventually turned it into my corporate job into a part-time job, started this business of teaching and healing. eventually left the corporate world.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's a structure for you. So have a think about that.
Would you like still stay within the animal field? Like, because as you said, like to me, that feels more natural. Like things just come to me with animals.
Well,
Humans are a lot more hard work.
It's entirely up to you. It depends what you want to teach. I mean, clearly you've got a passion for it. So maybe that's where you're meant to stay, but maybe you're meant to extend this, grow other things from that. But that's for you to explore and find out.
Yeah.
Okay. Only you can decide.
Yeah.
Okay. It's what feels right in your gut with a 9. What's the first response in your body? And that's the soul talking to you. Only you know truly what it is you're here to do. I can't tell you what you should be doing. I just give you the potential. This could be teaching about animals. Who knows? But I think ultimately you're here to work with people in some form.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though animals are a lot easier, much easier. People are a bit complicated, aren't they?
Yeah.
Animals are very genuine, so they don't have an ego. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's have a look. All right. We'll call it a day there, people. Thanks for total engagement. That was fun. And we'll hope you enjoyed that. And see some of you maybe on some of the training someday. And we'll get the video out to you probably in a few days. And yeah, it was good fun. All right. So thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.